Okay, y'all, I'm back. I guess we can't show NFL. Uh-oh. All right. I guess we can't show NFL footage. So hopefully y'all all will come back in the building.
Your stream is doing good, Diva.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think it was the NFL footage that they did not like me showing. And I didn't know. I thought it would be okay, but I guess not. The NFL don't play them games. We can't use their footage. Okay, so hold on. Let me just get the stuff up here, and hopefully everybody will come back in the building. If they know we live, but you know what though? The show will go on. I don't even got no title up there. Hold on, 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 hold on. Hold on, y'all. We're gonna get this together. Give me 1 second. Um, Give me 1 second, everybody, as I gather myself back together here. Let me try to fix this. Edit. Hey, y'all, we had technical difficulties, but I am back. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I'm coming, everybody. I'm just trying to fix some things. Let's do that. And then I guess I'll fix the rest later. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. We had technical difficulties. The NFL, they don't play them games. I guess you can't show the speech, but I'm back. I'm back. So if y'all were not here earlier for my little fupa, oh yes, NFL and ESPN funny about their videos. We good, Diva. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we back. Thank you to the mods out there. I appreciate y'all. So we're back. If y'all missed, I was live a little bit earlier. I was showing the NFL Sterling Sharpe, Shannon Sharpe's brother, got inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. I was showing his speech. And I guess, they was like, no, you can't play that. I'm used to playing videos, but I guess it was like, you cannot play them videos. So I said, okay, cool. We're back now. And so I can't show you the video again, but I'll just give you a summary of how pretty much, the NFL, they gangsters, okay? Good God. Thank you for the info. Yeah, they gangster. They ain't playing them games. But anywho, all right, now I know. Okay, when you know better, you do better. Okay, so anyway, pretty much he got inducted. Shannon Sharpe was there. I think Shannon Sharpe was a distraction, and I understand that he loves his brother, but I think he shouldn't have been there. And then he does this dramatic thing. He takes his jacket off. He gives it to Shannon Sharpe. I thought it was a whole mess and it's a foolery. And I think it's a shame that Shannon Sharpe fumbled his bag like this. He got his whole family. He got his brother that love him so much, and he was making all that money. And because of his extracurricular activities, he gets $23 million to an OnlyFans chick, and his whole family could have used some of that money. Julius, your thoughts?
Hey y'all, I'm back. Yeah, this is Shannon's doing. I understand it being the youngest out of six siblings, what his brother was trying to do, trying to show by leading by example, but God first. But when we all become grown, we all go our. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. But we all go our own way. I'm not gonna lie. I caught the feels a little bit from Mr. Sterling's speech. I ain't gonna lie. I connected with it because I understood where he was coming from. And he didn't bash the young lady who was affected or any of the other women who was affected by his brother. What he did was he talked about how he tried to lead by example. And, you know, this is on Shannon. He has to man up and take ownership. He fumbled his bag and lost every single thing that he had due to his number one, due to his ego. Due to his ego. The ego could be the main thing that can break you. And I just want to tell the people, like I said last night, think before you think before you act. Because you never know what the consequences are going to be.
Thank you, Julius. Tay, your thoughts?
Don't act like a fool at your brother, his, what you call it, as his thing too. Because Shane, you is a hot mess fool right there for me. That's all, Diva.
Thank you. Callie, Fancy, Special K, all of y'all in the chat, you're absolutely correct. He got his arrogance, his ego, all of that with Shannon Sharpe is standing in the way of just his legacy. And and it's not just Shannon Sharpe. We're finding out that a lot of these men in the industry, probably a lot of these men that are not in the industry too, but a lot of these men in the industry, they are doing the most when it comes to this sex. Yeah, in the pride. They're doing the most when it comes to this sex. I just couldn't imagine making having to give somebody $23 million. 2 years. 2 years. This could have went to your children, your mother, your sister, your brother who loves you very much. Now that's a brother for you. Even though you know what? They say you really know who people are and who's for you when you're at your worst moment. Shannon Sharpe is at his worst moment, and his brother is still standing by his side. Well, I'll tell you this, that's a brother for you right there. That's a brother for you right there. Shannon Sharpe is at his worst moment, and his brother is still standing by his side. But I think Shannon Sharpe, knowing how much his brother cares about him and loves him, he should have said, for you, this is your moment. I'm going to sit outside on the sidelines. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to be a distraction in those physical seats. I'm going to be somewhere else. But you come up here and Shannon Sharpe comes up there and the brother gives him the jacket. You could go watch it on your own. I just like when we get to see stuff together in real time and kind of talk about it. But it's okay. They shut it down, but we ain't going to worry about it, okay? So we're going to carry on. Let's move into this Trump versus Charlamagne the God. I just feel like, and listen, over here, I don't like to do the name calling, and I feel like he's the president. It is what it is. We got to wait out this 4 years, right? But the thing with the president, whether you're 47, you're 48, 49, the future one's coming, I just feel like you have a higher standard. And when you are worried about what people beneath you are saying, so to speak, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but if you're worried about what Diva saying about you, like, God help you. Like, you got to do better. You shouldn't even have time to be hearing and listening to what other people are saying about you. Do your job, and that's it, and that's all. So he's mad at Charlamagne the God because Charlamagne the God went on his daughter-in-law's, platform and pretty much talked about him. And it wasn't even anything where I thought was so horrific, right? But it pissed off Trump, and Trump called him a sleazebag and a low IQ individual. So first I'm going to show you, so hopefully we're going to be okay with this. I'm going to show you, let Let's see. I'm going to show you with Charlamagne's The Gods interview.
So as it turns out, when you build your entire show around sneering at half the country, audiences eventually tune out. Just ask the Late Show host, Stephen Colbert. And then there's The View, where diversity somehow means only inviting left-wing guests. It begs the question, is there still appetite for civil discourse and apolitical entertainment? Or has the liberal echo chamber become the norm? Well, Charlamagne certainly has some thoughts. Well, I give you a lot of credit because you have had me on your show. Mm-hmm. You have people with differing viewpoints on a lot of different things on your show. And Charlamagne, I think we need more of that.
Absolutely.
You know, you look, though, at things like, take a look at these numbers. This is The View. The View had, since January, from January until June, or July, look at that, 0 conservatives and 102 left-leaning guests. And then listen to...
Is that real?
That's real. And this is ABC News. And listen to what ex-reporter Terry Moran had to say. He said, but... we were biased. Yes, almost inadvertently, I'd say ABC News has the same problem so many leading cultural institutions do in America, a lack of viewpoint diversity. It's no secret there are hardly any people who supported Donald Trump at ABC News or other corporate legacy mainstream news networks. How important do you think it is to have different viewpoints and allow people, I mean, you're here on my show, I appreciate that, and vice versa, you had me on yours. This is important.
I think it's very important because I think a lot of times people talk about folks they never talk to.
Yeah.
And if you think that a person is spreading misinformation, if you think that a person is lying, then, you know, bring them on your platform and have that conversation. Like, you know, present the facts, present the truth, and then let the people decide. I think that's ridiculous to never, ever have anybody on your show that you don't agree with or has an opposing view of you or is from a different political party. Because at the end of the day, man, regardless of who's in the White House, that person represents all of America.
Amen.
And I reserve the right to criticize both parties.
Well, and I would say that person is a representative of America, and we should all want that person to succeed for America, right? No matter your political viewpoints, right?
100% agree. Like when you ask me, what do I think President Trump has done over the last 6 months, I don't want to say that I think he did a terrible job, but if he's doing a terrible job, I got to call it like it is. And if it was a Democrat,
I will respectfully disagree with you on that. I understand, but that's you would, okay. But you can have your viewpoint.
But if it was I gave President Biden the same hell too, because I didn't think he was doing a good job. All we want is somebody in those positions that's going to do a good job. I'm not a party person in no way, shape, or form. I want to say I'm an independent, but that don't make no sense because there's only 2 parties in this country, right? So you're going to end up voting for one of them.
Yeah. Do you see yourself in 2028 voting blue or voting red? And is there anyone you might already see yourself supporting?
I really don't know. I mean, I think that there's some good candidates out there. I think that we really have to look to the governors when it comes to the Democrats. I don't think that there's any change agents that's going to come out of nowhere and shake things up in the Democratic Party. I think it's going to end up being a governor, Josh Shapiro or a Wes Moore, somebody like that. And they actually have a track record, right? Because you can go look at their states to see what they're probably going to end up doing on a national level. The only other person I would like to see in 2028 run, and this is going to sound ridiculous probably coming from me, I would love to see Jon Stewart run in 2028. If we're talking about a change agent coming from the outside that's really going to shake things up and somebody that I feel like can speak to, all people. Plus he's a celebrity who actually knows what they're talking about. We've seen him get legislation and stuff, passed before. Like, we know where his heart is. He'd be somebody I'd like to see really get in the race and disrupt things in 2028. Maybe a Jon Stewart Colbert ticket because Colbert's not going to have a job. He's not working because of President Trump, so they say.
Well, people say different things. They also say he lost $40 million a year for CBS, which is also a bit of a problem whenever you're trying to have a successful show. If you had to pick a Republican who might be able to earn your vote, is there anyone you like that you would look at?
I mean, I was in South Carolina. I grew up in South Carolina under, somebody like Nikki Haley, right? So I can see something like that. I do think, and this is I think that traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back. I think there's a political coup going on right now in the Republican Party that people aren't paying attention to.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think that this Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take their party back. I really do. I think that they know this is the issue that has gotten the base riled up. The MAGA base isn't letting this issue go, and for the first time, they know they can, probably take their party back and not piss off the MAGA base. I think they're going to do that.
Well, I would say, we've never seen a typical election since the day that Donald Trump came down the golden escalator. So
Absolutely.
I don't know that we'll ever see another typical kind of traditional election with traditional Republicans. I don't know. I feel like things have changed, the game changed, and to say that the old guard is going to kind of come back, that's a big statement.
But that's the mistake Republicans are going to make. Republicans are going to make the same mistake that Democrats made. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Barack Obama was a one of one, once in a lifetime, political juggernaut. And since Barack Obama, every Democrat has tried to be Barack Obama. You're not Barack Obama.
You got to be yourself.
It's going to be the same thing with Republicans. Say what you want. Donald Trump is a once in a lifetime, one-on-one political juggernaut. You're not going to be Donald Trump. So if you think you're going to be able to do what Donald Trump has done, talk the way Donald Trump has talked, get away with what Donald Trump has got away with, it's not going to happen. So everybody right now, we have the opportunity to have like a huge reset. I think you should blow it all up. I think that people are really sick and tired of what we've been presented from both parties. By the way, we knew this before the last election. They were telling us that like 70% of people did not want to see a rematch between Trump or Biden. So it's like, we know we want something different. Everybody wants something different. So I think that if Democrats keep doing the same old thing, they're going to keep getting the same results. And if Republicans, think that they can repeat what has been done and don't try to give the people something new, they're going to get the results they don't want.
Well, just to wrap up here, and I appreciate our whole conversation. You on your show have a lot of young viewers. You're very influential, I think, with a lot of people. What would be your message to this next generation of voters? Because they're going to play a very pivotal role coming up in these midterms and coming up in 2028. What's your message?
Let's stop listening to the catchy slogans. Let's stop putting on jerseys for different parties, and let's just focus on the people who are putting the ideas out there that truly are going to put more money in your pocket and truly are going to make you feel safe in this country. Like, who is the forward-thinking people that are talking about, making this country more affordable, who are talking about really making you as an individual smarter, telling you what sectors to get into the world to make, this country better. Listen to people's ideas. Like, we focus too much on individuals. We focus too much on identity. We focus too much on party. What are people's ideas? Because that is what is going to always win.
All right. Well, Charlamagne, we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sitting down with me, and I hope we'll see you back here soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that's what he said, and that's what got number 47 in a tizzy. Hold on, let me share screen again. And that's Trump's daughter-in-law. So Trump's ripped sleazebag Charlamagne the God after his brash claims about Epstein and the GOP on Lara Trump show. Let me just pause that. President Trump unleashed on Charlamagne the God, calling him a sleazebag and a low IQ individual after the talk radio star went on Lara Trump's Fox News show to saying he believed the Epstein scandal could end MAGA's hold on the Republican Party. Appearing on My View with the president's daughter-in-law on Saturday, Charlamagne, real name Leonard Larry McKelvey, claimed that the traditional conservatives were about to take over the GOP again. Trump wasn't having it. This very wonderful and talented Lara Trump, whose show is a big rating success, put racist sleazebag Charlamagne the God Trump filmed on Truth Social in the wee Sunday morning hours. Why is he allowed to use the word God when describing himself? He's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me or what I have done. Like just ending 5 wars, including a 31-year bloodbath between the Republic of Congo and Rwanda. While Trump didn't reveal a specific grievance with what Charlamagne said on Laura's show, it came after the Breakfast Club. Hold on one second. Now my thing. It came after the Breakfast Club co-hosts weighed in on the scandal over Trump's administration delay and releasing files related to PD financier Jeffrey Epstein. Charlamagne claimed that the Epstein's role is a political coup going on right now in the Republican Party that people are not paying attention to. Last month, the mega base erupted over a July 6th Justice Department and FBI memo that concluded the evidence suggests Epstein unalived himself and did not have an incriminating client list. Trump had ripped into elements of the mega base for harping on the issue and blamed Democrats for kicking up the Epstein hoax. I think the traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back, Charlamagne said. I think this Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take back their party back. I really do. He added, I think they know this is the issue that has gotten the base rallied up. The mega base isn't letting this issue go. And for the first time, they know they can probably take the party back and not piss off the mega base. The Breakfast Club host described Trump as a once-in-a-lifetime one-on-one political juggernaut. Still, he panned Trump's performance across the board and contended the Americans are still struggling economically under his watch. Right now, people are hurting. Charlamagne argued he campaigned on immediate change, day one change. He also pointed to former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, as a Republican he could see himself backing. Trump further dinged Charlamagne and accused him of not knowing about his accomplishments in the office. He didn't know that India and Pakistan are wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, are closing the horrendous open border, are creating the greatest economy where prices and inflation have come way down, Trump vetted, referring to his efforts to end wars overseas. But this, though, Charlamagne will vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala. Remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Mega. Okay? Oh, God. It's a lot. Julius, what are your thoughts?
So I 110% agree with Charlamagne. And this is why. You know, I am a party unaffiliated voter. I used to be solidly a Democrat. Yes, I still may lean and vote left, but in my state of Massachusetts, I have voted Republican. What I go by is like how in schools they have like the grading rubric, right? I base my vote off of that grading rubric. Your energy, your ideas, how I can benefit, how the country can benefit, and how the worldview would be. And Trump right now has a F quadruple beyond infinity plus on my rubric. And I'm going to be frank, Joe Biden did too. And I want to add on to as to what Charlamagne said is the fact that yes, Barack Obama was a once in a lifetime juggernaut candidate for the Democratic Party. Donald Trump, same thing. And you know, folks in both establishments are telling these presidential candidates to not be themselves, to be these certain people. No, we want to get to know you. Because at the end of the day, We, the voters, determine if you're going to get in or not. So, what is your ideals? How are you going to represent? How are you going to carry yourself energetically as the top CEO of this country? How are you going to represent me as my commander in chief that I can attempt to respect? And so when you add in those extra factors, soul searching has to happen. And I believe, like he said, the two-party system is in shambles. And neither party, this goes for Republican nor Democrat, wants to break down the system to really take the time to look inside and reassess as to why they in the two-party system is responsible for the system being broken. That's it.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey panel, hey chat. Um, every time somebody comes for Trump, he always try to go for their IQ. Your IQ wasn't there at all anyway in school because your teacher came out and said you was one of the dumbest kids he's ever taught. And as in stating things that is so good for the country, you put if you work for ICE, if you went to school, your student loan is forgiven. You make $100,000 a year terrorizing people. You don't forgive student loans for teachers. You don't forgive student loans for nurses. You don't forgive student loans for doctors. But you give student loan forgiveness to people who's out there terrorizing other people. This man is insane. And everything that come out of his mouth is a lie. You lied about the bringing down groceries. Groceries is not coming down. Groceries are going up. You lied about stopping the war the first day. The war is still going. You lied about, let me see, what did you ever tell the truth about? Nothing. Then everything that you touch turns to crap. You had an airline, that didn't work. You had a board game, that didn't work. You was trying to sell steaks, that didn't work. You was trying to sell water, that didn't work. You bankrupt a casino. And how you bankrupt a casino? Because the house always wins. So that let me know that you're not a good businessman. Because anybody got a casino and it go bankrupt, something is not there. Your IQ is low. You tried to talk about Jasmine Crockett IQ. She's way smarter than you would ever be. This is ridiculous. This is the only time that I would ever agree. Well, I'm not gonna say ever with Charlamagne. Because I don't like calling no man to God because they're not my God. But that's the only time that I would ever agree with him because he's right. The parties are lies, and then people don't have people forgotten that this man was a Democrat until Obama got in office and he wanted to run for
That
president
part.
and he turned to a Republican. So he said that he would go into the Republicans because he said the Republicans they're dumb. Because he was a Democrat until he got ready to come down the escalator and become president. And people forgets this. Like they all the Democrat. His man was a Democrat. So I mean, when they talking about Democrat, they talking about him too. But he know Republicans are stupid. That's why he said he voted for them. That's why he wanted them. That's why he go out there to preach to them. He left these people in the dark in a parking lot and said, "Oh well, get home the best way you can." But I'm gone, and this is what you vote for. So anybody that's following this man, something is wrong with them. And I'm not judging. I'm not trying to judge. But there's no way I can follow this man because nothing that he's done or said has been good for the country. I haven't seen not one good thing that he's done. I haven't seen anybody turn on the news and say, "Oh God, guess what President Trump did for us today? We are so happy." I have not seen that yet. So, I'm done. I mean, I'm done because I just get upset more and more when I think about it. I'm done. That's all I got, Diva.
Okay, Tay, your thoughts?
It's just we have a challenge president who cannot be a man, pull up his big man pants up and became the man for the president of the United States. No, Donald Trump want to be a child thrown down like his toy got taken away. Oh, so you cannot take the criticism when somebody talking about you, Donald Trump? You 8 years old, Donald Trump. Sit down and do be a president. Jesus Christ, Donald. You just like a child in a man, 8 years old man body. Have mercy. And tell me that you blame your daughter-in-law first, okay? Now, don't blame Charlamagne, okay? Blame on your daughter-in-law, okay? Don't blame Charlamagne, okay? He telling the truth, and I agree with him at 100% right there. You can't take it, Donald? Then zip it. Shh. I don't want to hear it at all. That's all, Diva.
All right, thank you. So we're gonna move on into this last story, okay? Gina, she was listed as victim number 3 in the Diddy trial. She was supposed to speak on, be a witness for the prosecution side, but she never showed up. She was MIA. Well, now she's back, okay? Because she wrote a letter to the judge asking the judge to set Diddy free. So hold on, let me go ahead and share screen. And let's get into the letter she wrote. Dear Your Honor, my name is Virginia Hug, and I'm writing as the person identified as victim 3 in this case. I have known Sean Combs for many years in both a personal and professional capacity. From that experience, I have seen him primarily as a father, a family man, and a businessman, roles that he has always striven to uphold. I provide this letter to share my observations about his character and to respectfully request that the court permit his release on bond while the case proceeds. I acknowledge and respect that Mr. Combs stands accused and that the court must weigh public safety and the integrity of the legal process. At the same time, I believe this is important for the court to have a full picture of who is beyond the allegations. Our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. We experienced ups and downs and mistakes were made, but he was willing to acknowledge his mistakes and make better decisions in the future. Over the years that followed, he made visible efforts to become a better person and to address the harm he had caused. By the time our relationship ended, he embodied an energy of love, patience, and gentleness that was markedly different from his past behavior. To my knowledge, he has not been violent for many years, and he has been committed to being a father first. I'm writing because I do not view Mr. Combs as a danger to me or the community. This is the first criminal case throughout the investigation and proceedings. He has been cooperative, respectful, and compliant. He has subsequent ties to his family and community, including children who depend on him for emotional and financial support. Granting him bond would allow him to continue caring for his family and fulfilling his responsibilities while still subject to the court's supervision. I want to assure the court that if released, I believe Mr. Combs will adhere to all conditions imposed and will not jeopardize his freedom or well-being of his family. Allowing him to be at home will also support the healing process for all involved. I respectfully ask that you consider these factors when deciding his eligibility for release. Thank you for your time and consideration. Respectfully, Virginia. Hold on one second. So Diddy's ex, Gina, he's a changed man, Judge. Victim 3 wants him out on bail. So Diddy's ex, Gina, victim number 3 in the federal indictment, who went MIA in the criminal case, just went to bat for him in his bid to get out of jail pending sentencing. In new legal docs obtained by TMZ, Gina penned a letter to the judge in Diddy's criminal case supporting motion for bail. Gina says she's known Diddy for years and that she's mostly seen him as a father, family man, and a businessman, not a criminal. She says their relationship had its ups and downs, but says when Diddy made mistakes, he was willing to acknowledge them and make better decisions moving forward. Gina says Diddy's become a better person, and by the time their relationship ended, he embodied an energy of love, patience, and gentleness that was markedly different from his past behavior. Prosecutors and the judge cited Diddy's violent behavior for a reason for keeping him in jail pending his October 3rd sentencing. But Gina says, as far as she knows, Diddy has not been violent for many years, and he has been committed to being a father first. Gina tells the judge she doesn't think Diddy poses a danger to her or the community if he gets free on bail. She says he should be released from jail so he can care for his family and kids who depend on him for emotional and financial support. She also said if Diddy is released, she's confident he will follow all conditions. Diddy's defense has been going back and forth with prosecutors in a second attempt to getting Diddy released on bail, and the judge has yet to rule. I think it is interesting that she is speaking up for him, especially if you saw her interview on Tasha K. They had a tumultuous relationship, but it's interesting. Julius, what are your thoughts?
I say at this point, let the man out. Let the man out. The prosecution didn't prove their case. It was sloppy. It was just to prove a political point, and that's why that witch was fired. And yes, she was a witch because she was just so brokenhearted. Their case wasn't a strong case. And when you do sloppy work, you're gonna get sloppy results. And so, okay, he was convicted on the 2 lesser counts, but this man has been held behind bars for 11 months now. We're in August. 11 months now. And still nothing. There's no RICO. There's no enterprise. There's no nothing. There's people who have done worse things. Case in point, Epstein and Lesdine Maxwell and the current occupant at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Y'all want to keep this man behind bars for 11 months over some Johnson & Johnson. That's really it. Go to the store and get you some Johnson & Johnson. Let the man out. Y'all heard the lady speak. That's it.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Diddy should got somebody else to write him a letter. Reason being, if they don't want him out of there, they can go. Somebody can send that judge that Tasha K interview, and the way that she said Diddy did her. And I know she's saying people have problems in the relationship. The relationship is up and down. But you were saying how violent he was with you. And now you up there saying that he's love and all this. So these people gonna think like, was she paid to do this? Was she paid to write this letter? Why Young Miami haven't wrote a letter for him? Somebody, I mean, the ones that we don't know that he put his hands on, look like he was taking care of her. To me, she was going shopping sprees and all this type of stuff, probably doing the FOs as well. But for her to write the letter, and if somebody showed this judge, because the internet don't never go away, show this judge her interview with Tasha K, he gonna look at this letter and say, okay, he gonna ball it up and throw it in the trash can. She's the wrong person to come up there saying. I'm not saying that Diddy don't deserve to get out. I'm just saying that this person that going in there talking for him, when she's saying that he stomped her stomach and you know what he did, unalive a child, you the wrong person. And if you wanted to, if he's all that, why didn't you come to court and say, be a witness for him? If you go into court and you want to say something, he's good and all that, why didn't you show up for court? That would have carried more weight than you sending in a letter. You didn't even show up for a subpoena. I don't even understand. Y'all didn't even show up for a subpoena. I mean, normally the marshals pick people up that don't show up to the court for subpoenas. So I don't even get that. But like I said, I don't think she should have wrote no letter. And she did try to help him because she didn't want to be on them carpet floors anymore. But anyway, I don't think that she should have wrote the letter. I think somebody else should have wrote the letter whatsoever, because you know how these people are in the internet world. All they got to do is tell the judge, look at this. She was talking about how violent he is. So now he ain't changed. And I'm not saying nobody can't change. I'm just saying she's the wrong person to send in a letter. But that's all I got.
Oh, Tay, your thoughts?
Why did young Miami did not go to the court with her too? Why both of them did not go to the court? Speak their truth in the court. Yeah, that's all I gotta say, Diva.
Well, I think that a lot of the witnesses, and this is just a thought, a lot of the witnesses, they kind of were, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say forced to be a witness. With probably the exception of Cassie, but I even think Cassie in some way, shape, or form, she was strong-armed into being like their number one witness. I think they told her initially that, you give us the evidence and we're going to get enough evidence when we raid his home. And then I think when they raided it, and they had to end up telling her, I'm sorry, you're going to have to be like our number one person for this case, because we didn't get all the information we thought we was going to get when we raided his home. And I think that's how Cassie became the face of this case against Diddy. And I think the rest of them, they kind of strong-armed them into be witnesses. I don't think there wasn't too many witnesses that got on that stand, in my opinion, that really wanted to be there helping the prosecution for whatever reason. I just feel like they were strong-armed. But Gina is one of them where they tried to strong-arm her, and she was like, no, it ain't happening. So once she was on the list for the prosecution, it's not like the defense can just snatch her up and take her. So that wasn't going to happen with her. Young Miami, I don't know. But the defense did submit a list of 200 people. Who this 200 were or are, like, we're never going to know. But they did submit a list of 200 people that they were allegedly going to call to the stand if needed to speak on Diddy's behalf. But I think that they also found out or figured out that once the prosecution, because the onus is on the prosecution, not the defense. So I feel like once they felt like the prosecution didn't do well in presenting their case, they was like, we don't need to call nobody because y'all didn't do your job. Y'all did not make this clear beyond reasonable doubt that Diddy is guilty of the things that y'all are claiming he's guilty of. So maybe Young Miami was on this list of the 200, but we just didn't get to see her, and they didn't utilize her and the other people because they felt like they didn't need to. And for all intent and purposes, the way the verdict came out, they really didn't need to, right? Because of the more serious charges, he was found not guilty. I think that all the evidence they're putting out now in regards to the Mann Act, I feel like the prosecution failed him during the original trial with that they should have put all of that out there in the beginning. And they should have fought tooth and nail in the beginning for him to have everything that, they wanted him to have and, be found like not guilty of or whatever. So it's interesting. And I didn't think about it until y'all pretty much said it. Maybe Gina was not the right one to write this letter, but maybe Gina wrote it because it'll give the impact in the sense of, because she did put in there that, our relationship wasn't the best. We had our problems, but she claims towards the end, they were better. So maybe the reason and the purpose for her writing it is because, remember, Cassie and I forgot who else at this particular moment, they wrote letters telling the judge, don't let him out. And they were part of the victims in the case. So maybe because that's why she wrote, I'm victim number 3. Maybe because she is victim number 3, her point and her impact in writing this is to say that I am one of the actual victims. I'm not just one of his friends or a random person saying, you know what, let this man out. I'm one of the victims. I'm not afraid of him. He's a better person. Let him out. That's, I think, why she wrote the letter. And that's the angle I think she's trying to take with that. And that's why she wrote that I'm victim number 3. And if I'm victim number 3 and I'm okay with him being out in these streets, then you should let him out. I think that was her point. But either way, she wrote the letter. She's no longer MIA, and I just find it interesting. And also too, I would say, the judge can't say nothing about her for not. I feel like wait, what did it say? I feel like Tony Busby. Diva, I feel like Tony Busby. I feel like most of his lawsuits against P. Diddy, I feel like it's a money grab. Oh, Dwayne, you want to know why? Because it is. Because they were all acting as if the baby oil had something in it. And then Cassie got up on the stand, which I said too, way before they even got there. Cassie got up on the stand and said there wasn't nothing in the baby oil. I think they're all putting 20 on 10. And they're putting on 20 on 10 because of situations like Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe, when you're a lawyer like Tony Busby, first of all, when you got to do a case in court, you see how it could take a toll on you. Because at the end of the day, you could put on your best performance, whether you're the prosecution or the defense. It's in the jury's hand, and you never know what they're going to think and how that thing's going to go. But when you could be a Tony Busby and send demand letters, and you can get your client $23 million, I'm gonna say, just like that, darn near. That's a sweet deal for the lawyer and the client. And I don't know how much of that Tony Busby got, but let's just say out of her $23 million, I think they typically say 30%. What is 30% of $23 million? If somebody could put in the chat for me, I'm sure it's a sweet deal. So imagine you don't even have to do that much. You go in negotiations, and let me see. I'm gonna do a calculator here. Let me see if I can find out here. What is it? And that with Shannon Sharpe, that's a number that people are throwing out there. I'm just rolling with it right now. Let's see, 23 times. So potentially he got almost $7 million if we do 30%, if I'm doing that right. So just imagine, just like that. You could send a demand letter, talk negotiations, you getting $7 million, your client, is she going to end up with what? Whatever's left after you take your $7 million. Not bad. Listen, guys, thank you for hanging out with me tonight, even though we had the little, technical difficulties, okay? But we solved it and we came back. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit the like button coming in, hit the like button on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo, choo.
Choo, choo, choo.